Stop scrolling for just a moment, not out of fear, but because your weary soul is desperately seeking a place to finally rest. This is not just a passing thought on your screen, nor is it a coincidence that you have found yourself in this exact space at this exact second. This is a direct, loving word to your heart. I am speaking to you, dear child. Not tomorrow, not later when you feel you have your life perfectly put together, but right now, right in the middle of your beautiful, chaotic mess. You have already missed so many gentle whispers in the wind, but please do not miss this divine embrace. What is being offered to you in this very moment is a life-changing, soul-awakening, and profoundly heart-healing truth. If you rush away now, you might simply return to the same exhausting cycle you have been praying to escape. You might continue to mourn over doors that I deliberately closed for your protection, missing the magnificent blessings you simply cannot see yet, and longing for peace you were always meant to hold. If you feel this divine pull right now, take a brief moment to share this video. Sharing this message is not just a simple click. It is a spiritual seed that multiplies your own favor and extends this urgent, life-saving blessing to a soul who desperately needs to hear it today. If you feel a stirring in your spirit right now, a sudden warmth in your chest, or a quiet tear gathering in your eye, you have no idea how incredibly close you are to the magnificent future I have prepared for you. I have whispered to you in the quiet moments of your morning. I have shouted my love for you through the circumstances that forced you to change direction. I have waited patiently through your tears, through your deepest doubts, and through the long stretches of your silence. But this time, I am making my presence so undeniably plain. I am guiding you without delay, bringing you into a space of perfect clarity. Listen to this divine guidance now, because there is a beautiful season of grace approaching, and I want your heart to be fully open and ready to receive it. I am not warning you out of anger, and I am certainly not threatening you. I am guiding you with a fierce, protective compassion, because I love you far too deeply to simply sit back and watch you drift any further into the sea of anxiety and comparison. I have given you so many signs along your journey. I have used the kindness of strangers, vivid dreams, sudden feelings of peace, lyrics in passing songs, and even this very moment to reach out and touch your spirit. Do you truly believe you simply stumbled onto this message by sheer accident? No, my beloved child. I brought you here. I guided your heart, your eyes, and your attention. You are not lost in the universe. You are simply recalibrating your spiritual compass. You have just been distracted by a world that thrives on noise, but I am still here. And if you choose to pause, to breathe, and to really hear my spirit right now, absolutely everything in your reality can begin to shift toward the light. You stand at a beautiful crossroads of free will. Will you lean into this divine comfort, or will you scroll away again, carrying that same familiar pain, that exact same confusion, and that relentless wondering about why nothing ever seems to change for you? This is my spirit calling your true name, the name etched in the heavens before you were even born. This is me saying that you have endured enough wandering in the wilderness. This is me reaching out after you, yet again, with arms wide open, even after the times you ignored my gentle nudges, even when you broke the promises you made in the dark, even when you allowed the loud, chaotic world to convince you that I was completely silent. I was never silent. I was simply waiting for the exact moment when your heart would be tender enough to bear hearing my voice of unconditional love once more. This is that sacred moment. You are not receiving this by mistake. I am real. I am infinitely near. I am God. And I have never, not for a single second, stopped fighting for your ultimate good. You have cried yourself to sleep more times than you would ever dare to admit to another living soul, staring into the dark and wondering if I still care about your fragile heart. You have relentlessly questioned if I even see you down here, struggling to keep your head above the rising waters of daily life. You have felt completely invisible in a fast-paced world that is moving far too quickly to notice your spirit silently breaking beneath the surface of your brave smile. You have become an expert at pretending, a master at telling everyone else that you are fine, while internally you are collapsing from the sheer weight of your responsibilities. But I need you to understand a profound spiritual truth today. I have seen every single tear that has ever fallen from your eyes. I have carefully collected and counted them. I have held your aching heart in my hands during those agonizing moments when the pain was so heavy you literally did not have the vocabulary to speak it aloud. When you were groaning in your spirit, I was translating those wordless cries into prayers of intercession. I have covered you with a divine shield in the middle of fierce spiritual storms that you did not even know were actively surrounding you. I have protected your life, your mind, and your future more times than you will ever fully realize on this side of eternity. My love for you has never wavered, never paused, and never stopped flowing in your direction. If you truly feel my presence wrapping around your heart right now, allow yourself to release the heavy breath you have been holding. Let the spiritual realm witness your vulnerability. Let every worldly distraction fall to the floor. I want your full, undivided attention, not to condemn you, but to completely restore you. You look in the mirror and you tell yourself that you are too broken, too far gone in your mistakes, or far too weak to ever be used for anything significant. But child, that is exactly why I chose you out of the crowd. My divine power is made absolutely perfect within your human weakness. I do not need your flawless perfection. The world demands that, but I do not. I simply want your willing surrender. I want your genuine trust, not your exhausting religious rituals, not your flawless performances, and certainly not your fear-driven attempts to somehow earn a love that is already freely yours. I just want your beautifully imperfect heart. You do not need to clean yourself up or get all your answers right before you are allowed to come closer to me. Just come as you are. Come back to the secret place of my presence before you miss the incredible outpouring of peace I am about to release over your life. Come back before you spend another year mourning over the joy you could have naturally possessed. If you had just learned to rest in my grace. You have been carrying a backpack filled with stones of guilt, shame, and past failures. You have been dragging the heavy corpse of your past mistakes into the bright dawn of your new mornings. But I am offering you an exchange today. Hand me your heavy burdens, your deep-seated anxieties, and your paralyzing fears. In return, I will give you a peace that surpasses all human logic and understanding. I will give you a lightness of spirit that will make you feel as though you are walking on air, completely untethered from the expectations and judgments of those who do not truly know your soul. If this divine reassurance is washing over your soul and you feel heaven reaching out to you right now, type Amen in the comments below. Let the simple act of writing this word be your public declaration, a physical anchor of faith that you are ready to trade your heavy burdens for the profound peace God is offering you today. You look back at your life and you have absolutely no idea how many invisible attacks I have miraculously blocked on your behalf. You sit and think that you are simply unlucky, cursed, or forgotten by the universe. No, my beloved, you have been fiercely protected. Like a deep root system growing vigorously underground while the tree above remains bare, there is unseen spiritual growth happening during times of perceived barrenness. You think that the sudden door slamming shut in your face was a cruel rejection? No, my child. It was a necessary divine redirection. You think I have been distant and cold? No. I have been holding you intimately close in the silence, allowing your spiritual muscles to develop, testing to see if you would still choose to trust my character even when I withheld the constant flashing signs you kept demanding. But over time, I have seen your tender heart begin to harden like clay, left out in the blazing sun. I have watched your passionate spirit grow dangerously cold and cynical. You have slowly begun listening far more to the whispering voices of the enemy, voices that desperately want to see you fall into despair, than to my eternal word that only ever wants to raise you up to your highest potential. I need you to stop right now and deeply remember exactly who you are. You are my cherished child. You are not a cosmic mistake. You are not a forgotten afterthought. And you are certainly not under any curse. You are uniquely chosen, intentionally set apart, divinely appointed, powerfully anointed, and loved so deeply, so completely, and so forever that it defies all human comprehension. The enemy of your soul desperately wants you to suffer from spiritual amnesia and forget your royal identity. He knows that if you truly remember who you are in me, he instantly loses every single foothold of fear he has desperately clawed into your life. That is precisely why he works overtime to distract you with endless scrolling, toxic comparisons, and shallow entertainment. That is exactly why he constantly whispers in your ear that I am silent, distant, and uncaring. That is why he tries to make you feel like ignoring your spiritual growth is completely harmless. He is terrified because he knows the undeniable truth. If you listen to my voice today, if you dare to believe in my unconditional love, and if you choose to stay planted in my presence, absolutely everything in your bloodline and your future completely changes. I am guiding you right now with the purest, most profound love imaginable. If you walk away from this spiritual invitation now, you may needlessly carry emotional scars that were never predestined to be a permanent part of your beautiful story. If you ignore this gentle pull on your heart again, you may unnecessarily delay the exact breakthrough, the exact healing, and the exact peace you have been begging me to bring into your reality on your knees. My boundless grace is entirely free, but the gift of your time on this earth is not. Your window of opportunity to shift your mindset and realign your spirit is open right now. This is not a message meant to instill fear. This is the pure, unfiltered manifestation of divine mercy. I am giving you a holy moment to wake up from your spiritual slumber before the heavy demands of tomorrow try to crash in and steal your attention once again. I am offering you a clear, distinct call to step out of the shadows before certain worldly doors close and your past choices echo into your future. If this message is currently reaching deep down into a place inside your chest that you genuinely thought was far too numb to ever feel anything again, it is because I am actively awakening your soul. I am breathing fresh, warm life into your dry, exhausted bones. I am fiercely stirring the stagnant, dry places of your faith. I am shaking loose the heavy dust of your daily distractions. And I am boldly declaring over your life right now, you still have a magnificent purpose. You still have a bright, unwritten future. You still have a beautiful chance to turn this whole story around and step into the light. Do not let the enemy convince you that your best days are trapped in the rearview mirror. Your most profound moments of joy, your deepest experiences of peace, and your most miraculous victories are still waiting for you just over the horizon. I am preparing you for them right now, in the silence, in the waiting, and in the healing of your beautiful, beating heart. If you are ready to receive this profound promise, like this video right now as a physical act of faith, let this simple gesture accelerate the divine breakthrough that heaven is already orchestrating over your life. Gemini said, "My heart does not grow weary of you, my child. I am not frustrated by your stumbles or exhausted by your questions. Rather, my heart yearns for you to finally see yourself through my eyes. I deeply long for you to stop believing the heavy, suffocating lies that whisper I have moved on, or that you have exhausted my grace. I long to see you break free, from the silence you offer me, especially when I have surrounded your life with an absolute ocean of unconditional love. I watch with a compassionate, aching heart as you unknowingly sabotage your own beautiful blessings simply because you have been conditioned to listen to the loud voice of fear instead of the quiet, steady voice of faith. But hear me clearly in this very moment. I have never, not for a fraction of a second, given up on you. I still want you. I still desire your presence. I still hold a magnificent, detailed blueprint for your life that will take every single emotional scar you carry and make it shine with a radiant, undeniable purpose. I need you to receive this divine invitation with the utmost seriousness. Do not put off your spiritual healing for a later date. Do not wait until your circumstances feel perfectly convenient, because the world will always offer you a distraction. The time for your spiritual rising is right now. I have knocked gently on the door of your heart time and time again, and now my spirit is calling out to you with a louder, more urgent love, because your next decision truly matters. Your eternal destiny is not some distant, unreachable dream floating in the clouds. It is right here, incredibly close, resting gently within your reach. But you are standing in a place where you must make a conscious choice to step into the light. Do not be fooled by the illusion of standing still. In the spiritual realm, choosing to remain neutral is still a choice to stay bound. Delaying your healing is still a decision to linger in your pain. And responding to my love with silence is still a response. You are being called right now, not with a quiet whisper, but with a holy, undeniable thunder in your spirit. You feel it in your chest, do you not? That subtle trembling, that sudden quickening pulse, that strange, beautiful mixture of lingering fear and rising hope that is bubbling up inside of you. That is me. That is my eternal spirit actively waking up your dormant spirit. That is exactly what it feels like when the atmosphere of heaven reaches down and gently touches the earth, and a human heart is caught right in the middle of a miraculous, divine moment. You do not have to rush in a panic, but you must ask yourself, will you come closer to my light? Or will you choose to remain in a place that is familiar but deeply broken? Will you finally trust me to lead you? Or will you keep leaning entirely on your own, limited human understanding? A strategy that has only ever left you feeling weary, drained, and completely empty? I have so much breathtaking beauty to show you if you would just find the courage to let go of your desperate need to control everything. I have profound generational healing waiting for your entire family. I have total freedom prepared for you, ready to shatter that toxic cycle you've been spinning in for years. I have a deeply anchored peace for your mind that absolutely no worldly storm could ever shake. I have literal miracles waiting in the spiritual realm, ready to be released into your physical reality the very moment you choose to believe again. But I will never force my way into your life. I am the pure embodiment of love, and true love is incredibly patient. Love waits at the door, but it deeply desires to be let inside so it can begin the work of comforting you. You have spent so many years perfecting the art of smiling radiantly on the outside while silently collapsing on the inside. You have fooled your friends, your family, and your coworkers, but I see right through all of those carefully constructed walls. I see your incredible strength and resilience. Yes, but I also see the immense throbbing pain you carry every single day. And today, I want to do so much more than just watch you endure it. I want to actively intervene in your story. If you only knew the magnitude of the blessings I have lovingly prepared for you on the other side of this single decision to trust me. If you could just catch a fleeting glimpse of the overwhelming joy that is waiting just beyond your willingness to surrender, you would sprint toward my open arms. You would stop doubting your worth immediately. You would fall into my embrace and absolutely never look back at the shadows. But you feel torn, do you not? It is completely natural to feel that way. You are deeply afraid of giving up what is comfortable and familiar to you. You are terrified of losing something you hold dear, even though your spirit knows that very thing is secretly draining the life right out of you. You hold on to your pain, your old habits, and your toxic environments like they are a lifeline, when in absolute truth, they are a heavy iron anchor pulling your beautiful soul deeper and deeper into the dark waters of despair. If you feel a sudden, undeniable shift happening in your spirit right now, do not try to overthink it. Do not let your logical mind talk your heart out of receiving a spiritual miracle. Let your spirit respond. Let your heart speak the language of faith before your worldly fears try to silence it. You have managed to convince yourself that I have been completely silent during your hardest seasons, but the truth is, I have been speaking to you in 1,000 quiet, beautiful ways. That frustrating delay you hated so much, I was in that delay, protecting you from a disaster you could not foresee. That devastating closed door that completely broke your heart into pieces, I was standing right in front of that door, keeping it shut because I knew what was behind it would ultimately destroy your peace. That uncomfortable conversation that left you feeling deeply unsettled, that random thought of hope in the middle of a dark, sleepless night, that terrifying moment when absolutely everything in your life felt like it was falling apart, but somehow, miraculously, you did not break. That was me. That was my hand holding you together. I have been incredibly near to you the entire time. You simply were not listening with your spiritual ears. You were waiting for grand cinematic signs and flashing lights in the sky, while I have been intimately whispering my love to you through the cracks of your pain. And now, I am no longer just whispering. I am calling out to you loudly, clearly, and unmistakably. I am telling you to come home. Come back to the safety of my presence now. You have been drifting alone on the open sea for far too long. You have believed the enemy's cruel lies about your worth for far too long. You have measured your incredible value by the world's shallow, fleeting standards for far too long. You have accepted a watered-down, minimized version of who you are when I deliberately created you to be a carrier of my ultimate glory. This right here is the line in the sand. This is the divine moment where you either wake up to your royal identity or slip deeper into a life of settling for things that were never meant for you. If you absolutely refuse to settle anymore, subscribe to this channel right now. Subscribing is a beautiful act of obedience that secures your spiritual alignment with this new, abundant season God is unfolding for you. I deeply need you to understand a core truth about my character. I am not just the God of the mountaintops, the victories, and the perfect sunny days. I am the God who is not afraid to sit right down in the dirt with you. I am the God who stays firmly by your side when absolutely everyone else decides to walk away. I am the God who does not flinch or turn away when you are screaming in anger. I am the God who does not abandon you when your mind is overflowing with doubts. I am the God who absolutely refuses to give up on you when you are completely lost in a suffocating cloud of shame. I stay. I remain. I pursue your heart relentlessly. I knock on your door constantly. I love you unconditionally. You sit there and think that you have messed up far too many times for me to ever use you. You believe the toxic lie that it is simply too late for you to start fresh, that your timeline has expired. But hear my voice, and hear it with absolute clarity. You are not disqualified from my grace. You are not too broken to be masterfully repaired. You are not too lost to be found and celebrated. As long as you still have warm breath filling your lungs, then I still have a magnificent unfolding plan for your life. What the enemy maliciously meant to cause you harm, I still fully intend to flip and use for your greatest good. What other people coldly rejected and tossed aside, I will passionately redeem. What you thought was completely wasted time, I will miraculously restore to you. You have not even come close to seeing the end of your beautiful story. This current chapter of pain is not the finale. This is the great turning point of your life. You have walked through so much heavy fire already. You have miraculously survived traumas and trials that were specifically designed to completely take you out. And do you not see the miracle in your survival? That was not sheer luck. That was not just your own resilience. That was my invisible hand physically holding you up when you genuinely thought you were entirely alone in the dark. That was my Holy Spirit breathing fresh strength into your tired lungs when you were fully ready to lay down and quit. I am not done writing your story yet. I did not pull you out of the darkness just to let you aimlessly drift. I did not faithfully carry you through the burning fire just to let you freeze and burn out in the cold. If you still have even a tiny flicker of faith left inside your spirit, let that faith rise up today. Let your silent prayers be so much louder than your paralyzing fears. There are actual people in this world whose future breakthroughs are entirely depending on your willingness to say yes to me. There are entire generations coming after you that will be profoundly blessed simply because you chose to seek me over your own comfort, because you chose my eternal truth over worldly denial, and because you chose a posture of surrender over bitter stubbornness. You may not be able to physically see the grand puzzle yet, but your quiet, daily obedience is actively unlocking spiritual doors that are far beyond your current comprehension. Your courageous decision today to trust me will echo into places and impact lives you have not even begun to dream of yet. You do not need to possess all the answers. You do not need to have a flawless roadmap. You just need to say a simple, honest yes to my leading. If you are ready to let go of the past and embrace the beautiful future being written for you, declare your agreement in the comments by typing, "I am ready." Let this be your courageous step out of the shadows, signaling to the spiritual realm that you are actively choosing faith over fear and boldly stepping into your divine purpose. I want to make it incredibly clear. This invitation is not about restrictive religion. This is about a deep, intimate, and living relationship. This is not about you trying to be morally perfect to earn my gaze. It is entirely about you being willing and open-hearted. I am not strictly calling those who the world deems qualified or perfect. I take great joy in qualifying those who are called. I did not pick you out of the masses because you had your entire life perfectly figured out and polished. I handpicked you because your heart, although deeply bruised, battered, and scarred, is still beating loudly for something authentic and real. You are so tired of the fake, superficial things this world offers. You are utterly exhausted from relentlessly chasing worldly achievements and relationships that always leave you feeling completely empty at the end of the day. That profound emptiness exists because your beautiful soul is simply homesick for its creator. Your soul is homesick for me. I meticulously made you. I formed every single intricate part of your mind, your body, and your spirit. I gently placed massive dreams inside of you, dreams that are still quietly burning beneath the heavy rubble of your past disappointments. I see completely past all of your mistakes. I see the sheer purity of your underlying desire to do the right thing, even in those moments when your human nature caused you to fall drastically short. I do not look down at you from heaven with a harsh, judgmental glare. I look at you with eyes full of overwhelming love, with deep, unfathomable compassion, and with my arms stretched wide open. I am not here to punish you for your past. I am here to completely restore you for your future. You have bitterly blamed yourself for entirely too long. You have been carrying a heavy boulder of guilt that I already fully forgave the moment you felt sorry. You have meticulously built massive, fortified walls around your tender heart to protect yourself from getting hurt again. But those are the very walls I now long to tear down so the light can finally get in. I want to carefully and lovingly rebuild you, piece by broken piece, making you so much stronger and more resilient than you ever were before. I want to set your tired feet on a foundation of solid, unshakable rock. I want to plant beautiful seeds of hope in the exact places within your mind where you have previously only known crippling anxiety and fear. So many people boldly claim to love me with their words, but they stubbornly refuse to actually let me into the deepest, darkest rooms of their hearts. They casually use my name in passing, but they keep their spirits completely closed off to my transformative power. Do not be like them, my child. Be the rare one who actually pauses and listens to the Spirit. Be the one who answers with a courageous heart when I call your name. Be the one who dares to believe in the impossible, even if your belief is currently as small as a tiny mustard seed. That tiny speck of genuine faith is absolutely all I need to begin moving massive mountains in your life. That is all I need to miraculously shift the entire trajectory of your future. You do not need to exhaust yourself trying to earn my eternal love. You simply need to open your hands and receive it as a free gift. You do not need to desperately hide your messy life, your bad habits, or your darkest thoughts from me. I already see every single bit of it, and listen to me carefully. I still chose you. Knowing everything about you, I still actively want you in my kingdom. I still proudly call you mine. There is a massive, unprecedented breakthrough waiting for you just on the other side of your surrender. There is a literal shift in the spiritual atmosphere the exact moment you say yes to my guidance. The entirety of heaven throws a massive, joyous celebration when just one single weary soul decides to turn back toward home. Will that celebrated soul be you today? Will you finally find the strength to let go of your protective pride, your paralyzing fear, and your endless hesitation, and just come running back to the safety of my love? You have been running away for such a long, exhausting time, and yet, miraculously, here you are, reading these exact words. This is not by accident. This is not by random chance or the algorithm of a machine. This is by divine, holy appointment. If you truly believe this appointment was set specifically for you, press the like button to declare your readiness. Liking this message is a quiet act of faith that actively speeds up the miraculous shift heaven is sending your way. You are standing right where you are meant to be in this exact second of your life. I want to speak directly to the deepest fear you have been harboring in your quietest moments. You are not being punished, my precious child. I know that the heavy trials, the sudden losses, and the agonizing delays of your life have often felt like a harsh penalty for mistakes you cannot even remember making. But you must understand the divine truth. You are being meticulously prepared. Absolutely everything you have been through, even the dark circumstances that deeply hurt you, even the sudden shifts that profoundly confused you, has been purposefully shaping your character. It has been expanding your spiritual capacity to hold the magnificent, world-changing calling that is rapidly approaching. I have never left your side during those terrifying tests. I have been walking right beside you in the very center of every storm, acting as your shield against the violent winds that actively sought to tear your life apart. You keep looking around at other people's lives, silently wondering why their beautiful blessings seem to arrive so much quicker, why their path looks so remarkably easier, and why their skies always appear to be filled with sunshine. But you do not see what I have been carefully and deliberately building within you during the long, agonizing silence. You do not see the massive weight of the holy calling upon your life. You do not see how much precious, anointing oil I have been steadily pouring into your spirit during those deeply crushing seasons. The olive must be pressed to produce the oil, and the grape must be crushed to produce the wine. You are not falling behind your peers. You have not missed your window of opportunity, and you are certainly not living under a generational curse. You are being divinely set apart for a purpose that requires an immense, unshakable strength that only the valley can teach you. And that is exactly why this divine message matters so incredibly much right now. Because you are currently standing at a monumental spiritual crossroad. You can either choose to keep walking in the exact same exhausting circle, battling the same familiar demons, and accepting the same shallow peace. Or you can finally step back and let me take full, unfiltered control of your journey. I am not just asking for the small, manageable parts of your life that you feel completely comfortable giving away. I am gently asking for all of it. I want your unwritten future, your deepest pain, your most impossible decisions, your burning questions, and your strict demands for perfect timing. I want it all securely in my hands because I can do infinitely more with your honest surrender than you could ever possibly do with your rigid control. If you are truly ready to stop carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, let your spirit declare a shift today. Let the enemy of your soul see that your faith still firmly stands, even if you are holding on with violently trembling hands. I know you have felt like completely giving up. I have seen the long, suffocating nights where your beautiful soul felt entirely too heavy to even speak a single word of prayer. I have heard the agonizing words you never had the courage to say out loud. I have seen the dark, terrifying thoughts you never dared to share with another living human being. And I desperately want you to know today that I have loved you fiercely and unconditionally through every single one of those moments. You have never once shocked me with your humanity. You have never once disappointed me to the point of turning my back. You have never pushed me away with your profound doubts. I am still right here, intentionally holding sacred space for your total healing. I am completely covering you with a blanket of pure grace, waiting patiently with my arms stretched wide open for you to simply stop fighting and fall into my embrace. You have tried absolutely everything else to numb the painful ache inside your chest. You have desperately looked for lasting peace in flawed people, in loud distractions, in endless work, and in old, toxic habits that ultimately only left you feeling 10 times emptier than before. But absolutely nothing the world has to offer has been able to permanently fill that gaping space inside your heart, has it? That is because only my spirit can fill a space that was entirely designed for me. That persistent ache in your spirit, that quiet longing that keeps you awake staring at the ceiling, is a gentle, built-in reminder of exactly where you came from. You came from my heart. And no matter how incredibly far you drift into the wilderness, that holy longing will always act as a tether, calling you back to my presence. You can pretend to be fulfilled by the world for a little while, but eventually, your starving soul starts to fiercely crave eternal truth again. It starts to crave the one who formed it. You may have been raised in a strict religious environment that taught you to fear my wrath. Or perhaps you were never taught a single thing about my love at all. But right now, in this holy interruption, this is not about organized religion. This is entirely about what you feel waking up deep inside your bones. It is about the profound stillness you can suddenly sense even while you are standing in the very middle of your chaotic life. It is about that gentle, undeniable voice speaking so much louder than your loudest anxieties. That is me. That is not religious guilt. That is not emotional manipulation. And that is not empty tradition. That is simply a loving father calling his exhausted child back home to rest. If you are finally coming home to rest today, subscribe to this channel. This gentle act of obedience anchors your spirit and permanently secures your alignment with the miraculous new season heaven has prepared. This is your sacred moment to stop running from the only love that can actually save you. This is your appointed time to violently break the toxic cycle that has haunted your family lineage for generations. You have said to yourself, maybe next time I will surrender, far too many times. But you must realize that ignoring my voice repeatedly is a dangerous game. Not because I will ever stop loving you, but because the human heart can only ignore the spirit for so long before it naturally grows completely numb. I am reaching out right now before you entirely stop recognizing the sound of my voice. And that emotional numbness is exactly what I am trying so fiercely to protect you from. I absolutely do not want to lose you to a life that looks shiny and full on the outside but feels completely dead and empty on the inside. I do not want to watch you tirelessly build your future on the shaky, sinking sand of worldly approval when I have already laid a flawless foundation of solid rock right beneath your feet. You are so much more than your accumulated pain. You are infinitely more than your past failures and your private mistakes. You are so much more than what those bitter, jealous voices said about you when you were not in the room. I have carefully placed priceless spiritual treasures deep inside of you that no one in this world has even seen yet. I have hidden a warrior's strength within your spirit that will miraculously rise to the surface when you least expect it. You are not a weak person. You are not a forgotten soul. You are not a heavy burden to me or to heaven. You are my beloved masterpiece, my brilliant creation, and my absolute joy. If you are finally ready to receive that profound truth into your heart today, let your quiet agreement with my eternal words speak so much louder than the vicious lies that actively try to break your spirit. I have magnificent plans for you that go far beyond what your human mind can currently imagine or comprehend. These are plans to deeply prosper your soul, plans to give you a brilliant, shining hope and a future overflowing with divine purpose. That is not just a poetic verse written in an ancient book. That is the living, beating posture of my heart toward you. That is my permanent, unchangeable intention for your life. But to step into this reality, I need you to completely stop holding back your trust. I need you to stop giving me a half-hearted, cautious yes. I need your heart to be completely, unashamedly surrendered to my leading. I need you to trust me even when you do not understand the path, even when the immediate circumstances look bleak, and even when taking the next step feels incredibly hard. Because that place of total, blind trust is the exact soil where your greatest miracles will begin to take root. I have seen the profound way this heavy, unforgiving world has worn your spirit down to the bone. I know exactly what that deep betrayal did to your ability to trust others. I know exactly how that devastating disappointment made you incredibly cautious and guarded. But I need you to look at me and realize that I am not like them. I am not like the people who walked away when things got difficult. I do not fail. I do not lie. I do not abandon my children in the wilderness. I am the one who heals the unhealable. I am the one who restores the unfixable. I remain steadfast when the entire world is shaking. If you will just give me a tiny space to work within your life, I will miraculously do what absolutely no one else could ever do for you. I will completely fill you in the exact places where you have felt entirely empty. I will gently mend what careless hands have shattered. I will breathe fresh, vibrant life into the dreams that felt entirely dead inside of you. You absolutely do not have to fix yourself before coming into my presence. I never once asked you to clean up your mess before walking through my door. I simply said, come. Come to me with your heavy baggage of doubt. Come to me with your paralyzing fear. Come with your burning anger, your deep confusion, and your bone-deep weariness. Bring absolutely all of it to my feet, because I am not remotely scared of your mess. I am the grand architect of the universe, and I am the only one who possesses the power to make breathtaking beauty out of your absolute chaos. I am the only one who knows exactly how to take your jagged, broken pieces and meticulously form them into something that holds eternal, radiant value. You have a monumental choice to make today, and you feel the weight of it deep within your chest. Will you finally find the courage to let go of your self-protective pride? Will you honestly admit that you simply cannot do this grueling life completely alone anymore? Will you open your tightly clenched hands, look up to the heavens, and say, God, take absolutely everything. Because the exact moment you utter that prayer of complete surrender, the entire realm of heaven begins to aggressively move on your behalf. Ancient heavy chains begin to violently break. Generational curses that have plagued your family line for decades are instantly shattered. Deep cellular healing begins to flow into your mind and body. And this monumental shift is not just for you. It is for your children, for your grandchildren, for your entirely new future, and for absolutely everyone who is spiritually connected to your courageous act of obedience. There is a very real, very intense spiritual battle happening all around you, even as you read these words. It is the exact reason your mind constantly feels so unbelievably heavy and foggy. It is the sole reason you have endured so many restless, anxious nights and exhausted, tear-filled days. It is why you have felt violently pulled in two completely different directions. One pulling you toward a beautiful, rising hope, and the other dragging you down toward a suffocating despair. But listen to me, my beautiful child. This is not a war you were ever meant to fight using your own physical strength. I have already secured the ultimate victory for you on the spiritual battlefield. But to walk in that victory, you need to firmly stand under my divine covering. You need to stay incredibly close to my side. If you try to fight apart from me, you will just keep helplessly spinning in a tornado of confusion, desperately searching for meaning in a world where there is only loud, empty noise. But with me, you will discover a profound, anchoring peace that absolutely defies all human logic. You will find a bubbling, radiant joy that does not fluctuate or depend on your daily circumstances. And you will be infused with a supernatural strength that will absolutely never run dry, no matter how steep the mountain in front of you becomes. If you know deep down in your spirit that God is actively calling you out of your current bondage and stepping you into something immeasurably greater, let this moment be your ultimate declaration of faith. Let your heart rise up and claim the victory that has already been won. If your heart is beating with the absolute truth of this message and you are ready to surrender the chaos, type Amen in the comments below. Let this be the sacred moment you draw a line in the sand, agreeing with heaven that your days of fighting alone are over, and your season of miraculous breakthrough has officially begun. Do you honestly think that I have not noticed the quiet, agonizing battles you have been fighting all by yourself? The silent wars you wage in the absolute privacy of your own mind when the bedroom door is firmly locked and the lights are finally turned out. I have seen exactly how you have expertly kept a bright, cheerful, and reassuring smile on your face while feeling like you are completely falling apart on the inside. I have watched you summon every ounce of your energy to try and be the strong, dependable pillar for absolutely everyone else in your life, even during the very moments when your own foundation felt like it was crumbling beneath your feet. I want you to hear this divine truth loud and clear right now, letting it wash over your weary spirit. You absolutely do not have to carry the weight of the entire world on your shoulders. You do not have to be everyone's superhero at the expense of your own mental and spiritual health. You do not have to wear that heavy, exhausting mask of perfection when you come into my presence. I am giving you the holy permission to let it completely fall away. Let your beautiful, bruised heart break open in my safe presence. I am more than capable of handling your raw, unfiltered truth. I can handle your moments of weakness, your overwhelming exhaustion, and your deepest frustrations. I will absolutely never turn my face away from your honest tears. I am not a distant, unfeeling God who sits in the sky rigidly demanding flawless perfection before I will grant you an audience. I am a loving, fiercely protective Father who immediately runs to the brokenhearted, who gently kneels right down in the dirt beside the hurting, and who whispers an unbreakable peace into the very center of your loudest chaos. I desperately want your realness today. I want the deeply authentic version of you who does not even know what words to pray anymore. I want the vulnerable version of you who is completely terrified to hope again because the disappointment of the past was simply too much to bear. When you finally hand me that entirely honest, raw version of yourself, that is the exact moment I begin to miraculously heal what you had entirely written off as too damaged to ever be repaired. You are not being held back by my hand, my precious child. You are only being held back by your own deeply ingrained hesitation. You have allowed the dark shadow of fear to keep you standing on the edge, preventing you from fully stepping into the massive sea of blessings I've been trying so desperately to give you. You have repeatedly told yourself that it is simply not the right time, that you need to be more prepared, or that you need to be a better person first. But when will the conditions ever be absolutely perfect? There will never be a flawless, frictionless time to surrender your life. There will only ever be this exact present moment where you finally draw a line in the sand and bravely say, I have had enough of doing this alone. I choose God. And the very second you make that declaration, the windows of heaven fly wide open. That is exactly when the magnificent, miraculous shift in your daily reality truly begins to take root. Do not ever let your painful past continue to aggressively dictate the possibilities of your bright future. Do not allow the loud, accusing voice of misplaced guilt to speak any louder than the gentle, steady voice of my unmerited grace. I know absolutely everything you have ever done, every single misstep you have taken, and I still completely, unreservedly choose you. I know every secret mistake you tried to hide, and I still actively want you in my presence. There is absolutely nothing you could ever confess to me that would make me shake my head and walk away from you. I am the very one who already paid the ultimate price for every single failure, every deep wound, and every moment of profound weakness. I have already completely cleared your spiritual debt. All I am gently asking you to do right now is to open your hands and receive the total freedom that I have freely offered to you. You have anxiously thought to yourself, but what if I surrender and then I just fall down again? But I am looking at you right now and asking, my child, what if you rise up higher this time than you ever have before? You have questioned your own resilience, constantly whispering, what if I am simply not strong enough to survive this season? But I am loudly declaring over your life today, my divine strength is made absolutely perfect in the very center of your human weakness. You have looked at your reflection and cried, but God, I do not feel worthy of your incredible blessings. And I am answering you with the fiercest love imaginable. You are entirely mine, and I have made you completely worthy simply by loving you. If your tender heart is still open to believing that God can miraculously rebuild what the world has carelessly torn apart, I need you to speak it out in pure faith right now. Even if your physical voice is shaking, even if your hands are trembling with uncertainty, there is something incredibly sacred and powerful about this specific moment of agreement. Do not rush past this holy interruption. Your deep intuition knows that this is so much more than just random words on a screen. This is a divine, orchestrated appointment designed to radically shift the entire trajectory of your life. Press the like button on this video if you can feel the trajectory of your life shifting today. This physical act of faith serves as a spiritual catalyst, accelerating the profound divine breakthrough that is waiting for your agreement. The exhausting, painful cycle you have been stuck in for so long is absolutely not your final story. I clearly see the beautiful, vibrant dreams that you quietly buried in the ground simply because life began to hurt entirely too much. I see the magnificent kingdom purpose you slowly abandoned because the upward path suddenly looked entirely too steep and unmanageable. But right now, in this exact season, I am breathing warm, restorative life onto those dry, discarded bones. I am fiercely stirring up the incredible potential that you honestly thought was long gone and completely forgotten. That specific calling on your life is absolutely not over. That deep, burning desire you have to serve others, to love unconditionally, and to build something deeply meaningful on this earth, I am the one who originally placed that holy fire inside of you, and I am actively reawakening it in your spirit today. Do not let the enemy of your soul whisper lies into your mind for another second. Do not let him maliciously convince you that you have permanently missed your one chance at happiness. As long as I am still sitting on the throne of the universe, you are still perfectly on time. As long as my spirit is still gently speaking to your heart, your future is still vibrantly alive and overflowing with possibility. You have not failed too much to be redeemed. You have not waited too long to be restored. You are not too old, too lost, or too broken to be used for my greatest glory. You are exactly who I want, standing exactly where I want you, right now, perfectly positioned for this exact moment in history. Your total surrender today will open up so much more than just physical doors of opportunity. It will profoundly unlock your true spiritual identity. It will violently awaken your dormant power. It will effectively set your entire bloodline and future generations completely free from the chains of the past. I know exactly how deeply it hurts when things do not happen the way you so carefully planned and envisioned in your mind. I know you have prayed fervent, desperate prayers that felt like they just completely disappeared into an empty, silent sky. I know the agony of waiting for an answer that seemed to never arrive. Or worse, arrived in a package that did not look anything like a blessing at the time. But you must understand my divine perspective, what you quickly label as a frustrating, unanswered prayer. I call a necessary, life-saving redirection. What you weep over as a massive failure, I celebrate as a flawless shield of divine protection. You may absolutely never see the catastrophic danger I completely saved you from by closing that specific door. You may never fully comprehend what that agonizing delay successfully prevented from entering your life. But one beautiful day, when you look back at the grand tapestry of your journey, you will completely understand. Until that day of clarity comes, I deeply need you to completely trust me with the complex pieces of the puzzle that you cannot yet see. I am absolutely not punishing you for your past mistakes. I am lovingly and carefully pruning you. I am meticulously preparing your spirit, expanding your capacity, and building your character to handle the massive weight of the incredible blessings I'm about to place directly into your hands. Some doors were abruptly closed simply because you were not spiritually ready to walk through them. Some people completely walked away from your life because their assigned role in your beautiful story was entirely over, and their continued presence would have only held you back. Some exhausting battles lasted so much longer than you anticipated because I was specifically building your spiritual endurance for the massive victories that are still to come. Absolutely everything I do in your life has a profound, eternal purpose. And absolutely everything I allow you to endure, I allow with your ultimate eternal joy in mind. You have been so incredibly distracted lately, constantly drawn away by the loud, chaotic noise of the world. You have been suffocated by the toxic trap of comparison, measuring your beautiful, unique journey against the highlight reels of people who are fighting battles you know nothing about. You have been tuning your ears to voices that do not speak life, hope, or truth into your spirit. It is time to come back to my voice. Come back to the only one who intimately knew you before you were ever formed in the womb. The one who meticulously wrote every single one of your days in his book before you ever lived a single one of them. You keep desperately looking to this flawed, temporary world for permanent answers. But the world can only ever echo back your own deep confusion. I am the final answer. I always have been the answer, and I always will be. Stop frantically trying to permanently fix the deep wounds that only my spirit can miraculously heal. Stop exhausting yourself trying to frantically prove your worth to people when I have already declared you entirely priceless. The world around you is going to remain incredibly loud. It will constantly keep aggressively telling you to hustle more, to chase more fleeting wealth, to achieve more empty status, and to become someone you are entirely not, just so you can finally feel a fleeting sense of worthiness. But my divine way is so beautifully different from the world's exhausting way. My way gently leads to a profound anchoring peace. My way leads to a deep, rejuvenating rest for your weary soul. My way leads to a bubbling, radiant joy that the harsh, unpredictable world can absolutely never touch, steal, or diminish. I do not need you to hustle until you collapse just to try and somehow earn my unconditional love. I simply need you to be still. Take a deep breath and deeply know that I am God. When you finally learn how to rest entirely in my unshakable promises, you will completely stop feeling the need to forcefully manipulate and control your circumstances. What is divinely meant for your life will flow to you naturally, and what is not meant for you will gently fall away without a fight. You have been bravely walking through a deeply painful, refining fire recently, and I know it has felt like the intense heat would absolutely never end. It has felt like the flames were going to completely consume you. But I promise you with all of my heart, this specific fire will not destroy you. It is actively refining you. It is purifying the precious gold of your spirit and burning away absolutely everything the world violently tried to contaminate you with. It is intentionally burning away the toxic mindsets, the heavy fears, and the debilitating doubts that simply cannot go with you into your magnificent next season. You are not losing your true self in this painful process. You are gracefully shedding the heavy, restrictive armor you were never meant to wear permanently. When this intense season of pressing is finally over, you will step out of the smoke looking entirely different. You will come out infinitely stronger, profoundly wiser, and completely overflowing with the radiant light of my Holy Spirit. If you are ready to emerge stronger than ever before, click subscribe right now. Let this act of obedience firmly secure your alignment with the radiant new season and the divine promises that are walking toward you. This transition you are experiencing is not the end of your story, my beloved child. It is the breathtaking dawn of a magnificent new beginning. I know that stepping into the unknown feels incredibly heavy and terrifying. I know that you cannot clearly see the road ahead, and your natural mind is screaming for a predictable plan. But I am gently asking you to trust the one who created the road. I go before you into your tomorrows. I walk beside you in your todays. I stand behind you to protect you from the shadows of your yesterdays. You are not walking blindly through this life. You are walking by pure, unadulterated faith. And I promise you, with every fiber of my divine being, that your faith will absolutely never be wasted. Every single step you take toward my light is multiplied in the spiritual realm. Every single tear you cry in the safety of my presence waters the seeds of your impending breakthrough. You do not cry alone. You do not fight alone. You are completely surrounded by the magnificent armies of heaven, and you are entirely shielded by my sovereign hand. I still have so many profound, breathtaking promises to entirely fulfill over your life. I still have miraculous cellular healing to release into your physical body and your weary mind. I still have massive, unimaginable doors of opportunity to swing wide open for you. I still have vivid, world-changing dreams to awaken within your spirit. But to activate all of this, I need your genuine yes. I need your total, unfiltered surrender. I need your deep, unwavering trust, especially when taking the next step feels incredibly risky to your human logic. Will you bravely say yes to me today? Will you courageously choose to believe in my goodness again, even after everything you have lost? I have never once asked you to be flawless or perfect. I have only ever asked you to keep holding onto the hem of my garment. I asked you to trust me even when your hands were violently trembling with fear. And you did exactly that. You are still here. You are still listening to my voice. That is your beautiful faith speaking so much louder than your deepest fears. There is a very specific, undeniable reason the enemy of your soul has been working absolute overtime to completely wear you down. He clearly sees the magnificent potential I have carefully placed inside of you. He intimately knows the heavy, world-changing anointing that rests upon your life. He is absolutely terrified of the massive ripple effect your simple obedience will create in the earth. That is exactly why the spiritual attacks against your mind, your peace, and your relationships have felt so incredibly personal and relentless. That is why the pressure on your chest has been so suffocatingly intense. Because your life is absolutely not ordinary. You were entirely not made for a life of quiet, passive comfort. You were meticulously made for a holy, disruptive calling. You were not designed to seamlessly blend in with a broken world. You were designed to vibrantly stand out. You were not created to merely survive your days. You were created to bring a blazing, undeniable light into the very places where darkness has comfortably lived for far too long. If you still believe that my protective hand is resting over your life, even through all the agonizing delays, the confusing detours, and the painful setbacks, let that profound belief be your ultimate act of faith today. I have seen the exhausting way you have tried to silently carry your heavy burdens all by yourself. You deliberately isolated yourself because you did not want to be a perceived problem or a burden to anyone else. You desperately did not want to appear weak or vulnerable, so you stubbornly held all the pain inside your chest. You prayed completely silently. You cried agonizing tears behind securely locked doors. And you forced a bright smile when your heart was impossibly heavy. And I want you to know, with absolute certainty, that I was intimately there for every single second of it. Every silent, hot tear that fell into your pillow. Every dark moment you genuinely thought no one else on earth saw. I saw. I have always seen you. And now, my precious child, I passionately want you to put those heavy burdens down. Put absolutely all of it down. The crippling fear of the future, the crushing pressure to perform, the unrealistic expectations of others, and the suffocating shame of your past mistakes. Lay every single piece of it down right at my feet. I can effortlessly carry what you simply cannot bear another moment. I can miraculously heal what you have only ever learned how to carefully hide from the world. I can beautifully restore what you honestly thought was completely beyond repair. You absolutely do not have to live a guarded, defensive life anymore. You do not have to keep pretending that you have it all completely together. I already know absolutely everything about your struggles, and I am still proudly calling you my beloved. You have been frantically searching for peace in all the wrong temporary places. Worldly things can absolutely never fill your eternal longings. You were never made to relentlessly chase the shallow approval of strangers. You were never made to run your life on an empty spiritual tank. You were explicitly made to rest in my eternal embrace. You were made to deeply trust that I am absolutely enough for you, even when absolutely nothing else in your physical reality makes any logical sense. I am the Prince of Peace, and I deeply desire to give you a profound, anchoring rest that does not suddenly fade the exact moment your life gets difficult. Let my spirit gently speak into your current storm. Let my voice completely calm the raging waters inside your anxious mind. Let me clearly show you that true, lasting peace is not found when your life is picture perfect and problem-free. True peace is found when you deeply know that I am standing right there with you in the very middle of the chaotic mess. The exact same Creator who calmed the violent sea with a single, spoken word is actively speaking over the turbulent waters of your life right now. And I am gently saying, peace, be entirely still. You are absolutely not forgotten in the vast sea of humanity. You are not overlooked by heaven, and you are certainly not invisible to my eyes. In my eternal kingdom, I clearly see your every single quiet act of faith. I hear your desperate whispered prayers in the midnight hours. I gently catch your falling tears as if they were the most priceless treasures in the universe. I deeply honor your exhausting efforts to stay faithful and kind, even when the harsh world keeps violently pulling you in every toxic direction. I have seen exactly how you consistently chose my ways, even when it cost you friendships, opportunities, and comfort. I've seen how you bravely stayed planted in your faith when it would have been 1,000 times easier to just completely walk away and conform to the world. And I promise you, I will abundantly reward your steadfast faithfulness. You may wake up every morning and feel like absolutely nothing is changing in your physical reality, but I assure you, in the unseen spiritual realm, massive things are violently shifting. Thick, ancient walls are completely breaking down. Heavy, generational chains are rapidly loosening. Massive iron doors of opportunity are quietly unlocking. You may not be able to physically see it yet with your natural eyes, but the very ground is actively moving beneath your feet. I am constantly going before you to clear the path. I am miraculously making a way where there appears to be absolutely no way. I am carefully preparing specific, targeted blessings that are so intimately personal to your exact desires that you will instantly know it could only be me. Do not let your fleeting, temporary emotions speak louder than my eternal, unshakable truth. Do not let the intense pressure of today permanently silence the magnificent promises of your tomorrow. If you feel the atmosphere shifting in your life and you are ready to receive this divine covering, type, "I receive my peace," in the comments below. By declaring this today, you are actively unlocking spiritual doors of opportunity and completely aligning your weary heart with the magnificent blessings that are actively walking towards you. The enemy of your soul desperately wants to wear you down so completely that you will just throw your hands up and give up right before your massive breakthrough arrives. But I am telling you to hold on with everything you have. Stay deeply planted in my word. Do not aggressively move or make rash decisions unless I specifically tell you to move. Because what I am actively preparing to release into your life will be entirely worth every single agonizing battle, every single bitter tear, and every single dark moment you have endured. You courageously chose faith over fear, and heaven is actively responding to that choice. I know it has been incredibly hard to stay hopeful when the night seems so long. I know you have prayed desperate prayers that felt like they completely disappeared into the empty sky. But your prayers are absolutely not lost, and your faith is absolutely not in vain. I meticulously collect every single word you speak in pure faith. I dynamically act on every single step you bravely take toward my presence. Even the absolute smallest act of your obedience creates a massive, undeniable shift in the spiritual atmosphere of your life. You may currently feel incredibly weak and entirely depleted, but you are so much stronger than you could ever possibly comprehend. This is not because of your own fragile human strength, but entirely because of my limitless divine strength actively living inside of you. My Holy Spirit is vibrantly alive within your chest. That means you inherently carry divine power. That means you inherently carry spiritual authority over the darkness. That means you are absolutely never, ever truly helpless, no matter what your current situation tries to dictate. You may feel deeply broken into a million pieces, but I will miraculously use your specific brokenness to show the entire world exactly what my redemptive healing looks like. You may feel completely empty, but I will passionately fill you with so much divine purpose that your cup will literally run over and bless everyone around you. You do not have to be absolutely anything more than exactly who you are right now in order for me to fiercely love you. You do not have to pray perfectly structured prayers or speak with eloquent, flowery language. or memorize every single verse in the scripture. I simply want your raw, unfiltered honesty. I want your undivided, pure attention. I want your beautifully imperfect heart. If you can simply give me that, I can do infinitely more with your life than you have ever dared to imagine. Let today be the exact day you completely stop running away from your calling. Let today be the monumental day you stop desperately trying to navigate this grueling life without my daily guidance. If you are choosing to let God lead you today, like this video as a bold declaration of faith, let this action tell the spiritual realm that you are ready to accelerate the massive breakthrough He has promised you. You have already painfully seen exactly what happens when you stubbornly rely on your own limited human strength. Now, I am asking you to step back and let me show you exactly what happens when you completely trust in mine. I will not lie to you. This journey of faith will not always be perfectly easy, but it will absolutely be entirely worth it. There will still be fierce battles to fight, but you will absolutely never face them alone again. There will still be dark, intimidating valleys to walk through, but my rod and my staff will be there to deeply comfort and guide you. There will still be agonizingly long waiting seasons, but you will learn to wait with a vibrant, expectant hope rather than a suffocating despair. The chaotic world will constantly keep shouting loudly for your limited attention, but my gentle, steady voice will still be the only one that brings you true, lasting peace. Come back to me today. You are absolutely not too far gone to be rescued. You are not too late to start over. You are absolutely not disqualified from my abundant grace. My arms are still stretched wide open, waiting for your return. My restorative grace is still constantly flowing in your direction. My magnificent, detailed plan for your entire life is still actively in motion, regardless of your past detours. When you finally stop hiding in the shadows of your shame and bring your real, authentic heart to me, that is the exact moment the massive breakthrough starts. I am absolutely not here to shame you or condemn you for your humanity. I am here to powerfully lift you up out of the dirt. I am here to meticulously rebuild the beautiful things that life violently tore down. I am here to firmly place you on solid, unshakable ground where your painful past has absolutely no power over you, and your bright, abundant future is completely wide open. There is so much more profound beauty waiting for you than you have ever allowed yourself to imagine. I am not merely just restoring the exact things you lost. I am actively preparing something infinitely better, stronger, and more aligned with your ultimate purpose. You have spent entirely too much precious time deeply grieving the people who walked away, the opportunities that simply did not work out, and the seasons that abruptly ended way too soon. But I am gently asking you right now, will you finally trust that I can give you something so much more fulfilling? Will you completely trust that I withhold absolutely nothing good from those who faithfully walk by my side? That agonizing loss you experienced was absolutely never the end of your beautiful story. It was a massive, divine turning point. It was me aggressively clearing the stage and making necessary room in your life for what is actually meant to last forever. If you can feel this profound spiritual shift actively taking place in your weary heart right now, let this be your ultimate moment of full agreement with heaven. You have allowed broken, hurting people to carelessly speak toxic words over your life, words that deeply wounded your spirit. These were words that maliciously made you feel incredibly small, entirely unworthy, and completely unlovable. Perhaps they were spoken by a parent who didn't know how to love, a partner who walked away, or a boss who only saw your mistakes. But I need you to know that those cruel words were absolutely never from me. I have never once called you absolutely anything other than uniquely chosen, unconditionally loved, powerfully redeemed, and more than enough. You have been heavily carrying those vicious lies around your neck like iron chains for entirely too long. It is completely time to lay them down in the dirt where they belong. It is time to aggressively replace every single one of those lies with my eternal truth. You are absolutely not who your critics said you are. You are exactly who I say you are, and I proudly say that you are a royal child of the Most High, completely worthy of every single good thing I have ever promised you. You are so deeply exhausted, not just in your physical body, but deep down in the very core of your soul. You have been fighting so incredibly long just to try and keep your head above the crashing waves. But I desperately want to give you so much more than mere survival. I want to give you a profound, anchoring peace. Not the fragile, temporary kind of peace that instantly fades with the very next wave of unexpected trouble, but the deep, eternal kind of peace that firmly roots you like a massive oak tree, even in the most violent storms. My divine peace is absolutely not weak or passive. It is not fragile. It is incredibly strong, fierce, and fiercely steady. And once my peace completely fills the empty spaces of your heart, absolutely nothing outside of you will ever be able to shake your foundation again. You have been absolutely terrified to hope again, entirely afraid to dream massive dreams again, simply because your past disappointments have left such deep, agonizing scars on your heart. But I passionately want you to hope again. I want you to bravely believe that something entirely new and miraculously beautiful is completely possible for your life. I want you to know, without a single shadow of a doubt, that your absolute best days are not trapped behind you in your memories. They are radiantly shining ahead of you. And I am already standing firmly in your tomorrows, meticulously preparing the way and making the crooked paths straight. You absolutely do not have to see the entire finished staircase right now. You just need to bravely take the very next step in faith. You just need to say a quiet, honest yes to my leading. I am absolutely not a distant, uncaring God sitting on a cloud far away from your reality. I am infinitely closer to you than your very next breath. I walk intimately with you through every single dark, intimidating valley. I joyously rejoice with you on top of every single triumphant mountain. I firmly hold your trembling hand through all the confusing, messy, in-between seasons of waiting. You absolutely do not have to exhaust yourself trying to earn my holy presence. It is already completely yours as a free gift. Just simply turn your weary heart toward my light. I have been standing right here by your side all along. I have absolutely never walked away from you, even when you angrily walked away from me, even when your mind was completely consumed by crippling doubt, even when you violently pushed me away out of your deep pain, your blinding pride, or your paralyzing fear. I stayed, because my unconditional love simply does not run out, and my devotion to you is eternal. My love absolutely does not fluctuate or change based on your daily, unpredictable emotions. It does not slowly fade away with the passing of time. It entirely does not depend on your flawless behavior or your perfect attendance at a religious building. My love is fiercely steady. It is perfectly holy. It is incredibly deep enough to reach all the way down into the darkest, most hidden places of your soul that you honestly thought were entirely too far gone to ever be saved. You are absolutely never beyond my miraculous reach. You are not too lost in the wilderness. You are not too broken into pieces. You are the one precious sheep that I specifically left the other 99 to go out and passionately find in the dark. You are the exact one I proudly died to save, and you are the exact one I will passionately pursue until the end of time. If you feel deeply pursued by His love today, subscribe to this channel. This intentional act of obedience spiritually secures your daily alignment with the breathtaking new season of grace He is unveiling for your life. You have spent entirely too much of your precious life exhaustively trying to be the strong, unshakable pillar for absolutely everyone else around you. You have carried their emotional burdens, solved their complex problems, and dried their falling tears, all while your own soul was desperately screaming for a moment of rest. But now, in this sacred season, I deeply want to be your strength. I want to gently carry you for a while. I want you to completely lay down your heavy armor and simply rest in my protective arms. You absolutely do not have to hold the entire universe together anymore. I never once asked you to carry that impossible weight. I only ever asked you to trust my leading, to lean heavily on my everlasting understanding, and to bravely walk with me, just taking one single, trusting step at a time. You do not have to frantically figure everything out before the sun goes down. You just have to stay incredibly close to my side. When you faithfully walk with me, I actively guide your every footstep. When you deeply trust me, I miraculously provide for your every need. When you bravely obey my gentle nudges, I abundantly bless you far beyond your wildest human measures. My divine ways are so infinitely higher than your ways. My eternal thoughts are so profoundly deeper than your thoughts. You will not always immediately understand exactly what I am doing behind the scenes of your life, but you can absolutely always trust that I am tirelessly working absolutely everything together for your ultimate eternal good. You may wake up today and honestly not feel physically or emotionally strong enough to finish this grueling race, but I promise you, I will be your supernatural strength. I will run the race right beside you. I will gently pick you up off the ground every single time you stumble and fall. I will loudly cheer you on when you feel completely unseen and unappreciated by the world. I will brightly light your dark path when the shadows try to close in around you. I will fiercely protect you when the unexpected attacks come. I am your divine covering. I am your eternal provider. I am your loving Father. Just because you do not currently see the full, breathtaking picture of your life yet, it absolutely does not mean that I am not actively working behind the heavy curtain. I miraculously move in the absolute silence, just as much as I dynamically move in the loud, visible miracles. The deep, transformative work I am currently doing inside of your soul is profoundly sacred. You must bravely trust this complex process, even when it feels agonizingly slow and entirely unproductive to your natural eyes. You have been quietly wondering in your heart, is this beautiful promise really meant for me? Could God actually still want someone like me after all the detours I have taken? Let me answer you with absolute, undeniable clarity right now. Yes. 1,000 times, yes. I want you. I have absolutely always wanted you. I do not just want the polished, highly filtered version of yourself that you carefully present to the world on a stage. I want the deeply real you, the version of you that aggressively doubts sometimes, the version of you that completely breaks down in tears when absolutely no one else is watching, the version of you that stubbornly keeps trying to do the right thing even when it hurts to breathe. That is the exact, beautiful heart that I treasure above all else. That is the precious heart I proudly call my very own. If this word confirms what your spirit has been quietly sensing in the waiting room of your life, type Amen in the comments below. Let this bold declaration seal your absolute trust in His perfect timing, proving to the enemy that your faith remains unshakable, even when you cannot yet see the breathtaking picture being painted behind the scenes. You are absolutely not a forgotten face completely lost in the massive crowd of humanity. You are intimately seen, profoundly known, and uniquely chosen. Long before you ever took your very first breath of air on this earth, I intentionally spoke a magnificent, world-changing purpose over your entire life. And that original divine purpose has absolutely not changed. No matter what devastating tragedies have happened, no matter what massive mistakes you have made, I absolutely never give up on the beautiful masterpieces I create. I absolutely never walk away from the specific people I call by name. The fickle world may carelessly discard you when you no longer serve their selfish purposes, but I will miraculously restore you. Flawed people may entirely give up on your potential, but my spirit will forever remain steadfast. I am entirely not like them. I absolutely never fail. I absolutely never leave. There is an immense universe-shifting power in the exact words that you choose to speak out of your mouth. And if you are being entirely honest with yourself, you have been casually speaking dark words of death and defeat over your own beautiful life without even realizing the spiritual damage it is causing. You constantly whisper to yourself, "I am simply not enough," or "My circumstances will never actually change," or "Maybe this beautiful blessing is just not meant for someone like me." But my precious child, those are absolutely not the empowering words I carefully taught you to say. I specifically created you to boldly speak life into dead situations. I specifically gave you a powerful voice to loudly declare total victory over your towering mountains. I gave you immense spiritual authority through my Holy Spirit to completely silence the toxic lies of the enemy and aggressively replace them with my eternal truth. You must start speaking exactly what I have already spoken over you. Look in the mirror and loudly say, "I am profoundly loved." Say, "I am uniquely chosen for a time such as this." Say, "I am absolutely not too late to step into my glorious purpose." Say, "God's magnificent promises over my life are still firmly standing today." Because the exact moment you verbally agree with my divine word, you perfectly align your entire heart with the atmosphere of heaven. And when your heart is perfectly aligned with heaven, your earthly reality will miraculously begin to shift in your favor. Do you remember the ancient story of Paul and Silas in the dark, damp prison? The heavy iron chains did not miraculously fall off their bruised wrists simply because they sat in the corner and cried about their unfair circumstances. The heavy chains violently shattered and fell to the floor entirely because they aggressively chose to lift their voices and praise me in the exact middle of their absolute darkest hour. Even while you are still wearing heavy chains, even while you are still sitting in the suffocating dark, your genuine praise is a formidable, undeniable power. And I desperately want you to use your power today. If you are ready to use your power and praise Him in advance, like this video right now. This simple act of faith completely aligns your heart with heaven and accelerates the magnificent breakthrough hovering over your family. Y'all, I know exactly how incredibly tired you are of constantly waiting. You are exhausted from waiting for me to suddenly move the mountains, waiting for clear answers to your prayers, and waiting for your painful circumstances to finally get better. But I need you to understand that a season of waiting absolutely does not mean that I have abandoned you in the wilderness. The waiting room is the exact holy place where I carefully refine your character. It is where I deeply strengthen your spiritual muscles. It is exactly where I meticulously prepare the massive blessing to perfectly match your emotional maturity, so that when the blessing finally arrives, you do not accidentally destroy it or lose it. You have seen exactly what tragically happens when people receive massive blessings entirely too soon, before their character can actually sustain the weight of it. They completely mishandle the gift. I absolutely do not want that heartbreaking outcome for you. I love you entirely too much to hand you a heavy blessing before your spirit is genuinely ready to carry it. You have cried out into the dark night, "God, where are you in all of this pain?" And I have been gently saying right back to you, I am right here, right exactly beside you. But your mind has been so consumed with anxiety that you have been intensely listening to absolutely every other loud voice in the world except mine. I am asking you today to purposefully silence the chaotic noise. Put down the endless digital distractions. Come back and sit quietly at my feet. Even if you do not have the perfectly structured words to pray, you absolutely do not need to perform a religious monologue for me. You just simply need to be intimately present with me. Let the warmth of my holy presence completely soften the hardened, cynical places of your mind. Let the gentle tide of my love completely undo everything that your paralyzing fear has aggressively built up over the years. There is a massive, unprecedented harvest rapidly coming your way. But you absolutely have to keep faithfully planting the good seeds, keep aggressively praying the bold prayers, and keep courageously choosing to do the right thing, even when it is incredibly difficult. Even when it truly feels like absolutely no one on earth sees your hidden efforts, I clearly see it, and I will abundantly reward your integrity. I vividly see the gentle kindness you freely give to strangers without ever expecting a single thing in return. I see the massive, painful sacrifices you quietly make in absolute private just to help your loved ones survive. I see the exhausting way you fiercely fight to stay close to my spirit when absolutely everything in your environment is violently trying to pull you away into the darkness. I see every single bit of it, and I will absolutely never forget your labor of love. You have frequently wondered in your heart exactly why I allowed you to walk through certain dark, terrifying valleys. But you must realize that some profound spiritual truths are absolutely only learned while you are walking through the valley. True humility, deep empathy, genuine compassion, and a total, unwavering dependence on my grace. These incredibly rare traits are absolutely not grown on the sunny, comfortable mountaintops. They are strictly forged in the intense, fiery shadows of your deepest pain. But the dark valley is absolutely not your permanent home. It is merely a temporary passage. And waiting for you on the exact other side of that dark passage is a breathtaking place of much deeper joy, much clearer purpose, and an entirely unshakable peace. You have been violently pulled in absolutely every single direction lately, desperately trying to hold your entire life together with your bare hands. I know exactly how incredibly thin you have stretched your energy. I know how you have been frantically trying to perfectly meet every single need, completely fill every single gap, and make absolutely everyone around you perfectly happy. And in the exhausting process of doing all of that, you have completely forgotten to nurture your own beautiful soul. But I have absolutely not forgotten you. I see you clearly. I see the quiet, incredible strength you display every day. I see the heavy tears you quickly wipe away and hide from the world. I see the massive, monumental effort you put in that absolutely no one ever applauds you for. And I am standing here to firmly say that you absolutely do not have to do this grueling life entirely alone anymore. I am your ever-present help in times of trouble. I am your ultimate rest. I am your eternal peace. You have slowly started to believe the toxic, worldly lie that says you are somehow falling behind in life, that everyone else is rapidly moving ahead into success while you are permanently stuck in the mud. But I desperately want you to hear me clearly right now. My divine timing is absolutely perfect. The long delay you are experiencing is absolutely not a harsh denial of your dreams. It is a necessary period of profound spiritual development. I am not just carefully preparing the massive blessing for you. I am actively, meticulously preparing you for the massive blessing. Do not furiously try to rush the delicate process. Do not arrogantly try to skip the necessary steps of growth. Every single quiet moment of reflection, every incredibly lonely night, every desperate prayer you honestly thought I did not hear, it has absolutely all been a crucial part of something so much greater than yourself. You may not logically understand it right now, but one beautiful day you will look back in absolute awe and clearly see that I was miraculously there in every single step, orchestrating your ultimate victory. If you completely trust His perfect purpose, subscribe to this channel today. By subscribing, you perform a powerful act of obedience that locks in your spiritual alignment with the magnificent, victorious new season that is finally here. This magnificent next chapter of your life is going to look entirely different from anything you have ever experienced before. You have been trapped in a long, exhausting season of intense pressing, but I am joyously bringing you into a beautiful, expansive season of fulfilled promise. And in order to successfully step into exactly what is next, you absolutely have to let go of exactly what is behind you. That means fully releasing the toxic bitterness, completely forgiving the deep resentment, and entirely shedding the old, traumatized version of yourself that only ever knew how to merely survive. I am actively calling you upward into a completely new, elevated place, a breathtaking place of profound healing, radical boldness, and unshakable faith. You absolutely cannot take your old, heavy fears into your brand new, bright future. You have been completely quiet for entirely too long. You have nervously silenced your powerful voice simply because critical, broken people maliciously made you feel like your unique perspective did not matter. But I am the one who gave you that specific voice. I am the one who gave you that passionate fire in your belly. I am the one who gave you that exact world-changing purpose. Do not ever hide your light under a basket anymore. The hurting world desperately needs exactly what I have carefully placed inside of you. Your painful story has immense redemptive power. Your deep healing has a magnificent kingdom purpose. What entirely broke your heart into pieces will absolutely not be wasted. It will miraculously become the exact powerful tool that completely sets someone else entirely free from their own chains. Let me powerfully use your testimony. Let me beautifully redeem your pain. I have specifically called you to be entirely different from the crowd. That is exactly why you have never, ever quite fit in with the people around you. That is exactly why you have so often felt the agonizing heavy weight of social rejection. But hear my voice clearly. You were absolutely never made to blend in with the background. You were miraculously made to shine like a brilliant star in the dark night. You were entirely made to lead the brokenhearted to safety. You were specifically made to boldly carry my eternal light into the darkest, most terrifying places where others are entirely too afraid to go. You may currently feel incredibly small and insignificant, but I have firmly planted something entirely eternal and massive inside your spirit. My Holy Spirit vibrantly lives within you, and that profoundly means you are absolutely never out of divine strength, never out of miraculous hope, and never without heavenly help. The enemy of your soul is terrified of you. He only ever attacks the exact things that he deeply fears. And he is absolutely terrified of what I am actively doing inside of you right now. He is completely terrified of your total healing. He is entirely terrified of your complete surrender to my will. He is fiercely terrified of the exact moment you finally wake up and realize exactly who you are in my kingdom. Because the very second you confidently walk in your true royal identity, massive chains break across generations. Entire atmospheres shift into the light. Broken families are miraculously restored to health. That is exactly why he has frantically tried everything to wear you down. But he will absolutely not win this battle. Not this time, not ever. You are completely surrounded by the magnificent warmth of my presence. You are entirely covered by my unmerited grace. You are fiercely protected by legions of my warrior angels. You are constantly walking in an unexplainable, divine favor, even if you cannot clearly see the physical evidence of it just yet. And the more you actively trust my leading, the clearer your entire path will become. I will give you profound, supernatural wisdom. I will clearly show you the exact moments to speak up and the exact moments to remain perfectly silent. I will miraculously open massive doors of opportunity that absolutely no human being could ever possibly shut. I will divinely align people, resources, and circumstances for you that you could absolutely never make happen on your own limited strength. Because I go before you, I stand beside you, I hold your tomorrow. As you step boldly into this light, I am providing you with physical anchors to tether this spiritual breakthrough to your earthly journey. I have established Luxury Gold Palace as a sanctuary where you can find consecrated spiritual tools, prophetic points of contact like radiant citrine to manifest the abundance I have spoken, amethyst to guard the peace I have restored, and blue topaz to clarify the divine signals I am sending to your spirit. These are not mere ornaments. They are sacred vessels mirroring the light you now carry, designed to keep you in alignment with this word long after this moment passes. You may find the specific anchor intended for your season at the link located in the pinned comment below. Now, simply breathe, my beloved child. Step boldly into the light and let us begin. If you are ready to shed the old fears and walk boldly into your new dawn, type Amen in the comments below one final time. Let this be your ultimate seal of agreement, your public activation into a brand new season of radical healing, unshakable faith, and overflowing kingdom blessings. Before you leave this sacred space, share this message with someone you love. By extending this divine blessing to others, you actively multiply the favor over your own life, letting heaven know you are a willing vessel for everyday miracles. Amen.